If you're looking back at a toxic breakup and wondering what went wrong, I'll bet you are familiar with trying to help somebody that you care about. You offer them advice, you pour all of your energy into them, but it feels like the more you give, the more powerless you become. And in the end, after everything you've done, they are the ones who end up leaving you. Hello, friends. My name is Maria, and I spent almost 20 years in this exact trap. And that's why today I'd like to talk to you about 3 ways we get trapped into trying to fix people who abandon us, and the small but powerful shifts you can make that will free you and finally give you the respect that you deserve. One big universal lesson about human behavior and dating is everyone is on their very best behavior in the beginning. And if you're like me and you struggle with anxious preoccupation, you can get attached to someone way before they reveal their true character. We're hopeful, the relationship feels different from all the ones of the past, and that's why when the cracks begin to show, we become desperate to get the relationship back to how it was in the beginning when they felt more present. But here is how common scenarios that would usually trap you shift when you begin to build yourself up and know your own value before you ever get involved with anyone else. Here's a common problem. You start seeing someone and it turns out they are way more possessive and controlling than you realized. They sneak and check your phone, or they get jealous when they see you going out with your friends and you think, this doesn't feel right. You call them out on it and they explain they're only doing it because they were hurt so badly in the past. You now feel compelled to be more patient and prove that you're different. I once went out on a date with a guy and we went to a sports bar with a group of his friends. I remember he made this remark that he was really happy to be out with his friends. And later I found out it's because he'd been living with this controlling woman who, she never wanted to go out, but she also never wanted him to go out without her. And as a result, this guy hadn't gone out with his friends in 2 years because he was trying to soothe her insecurity she had from being cheated on in her past. And he was trying to prove his loyalty. He became the whipped butt of his friends' jokes, and even after sacrificing his entire social life, she ended up dumping him anyway. We take so much responsibility onto ourselves, but when we draw a healthy boundary, they leave. You overanalyze and you tell yourself if you just had given in to their demands, they never would have left you. But I am here to tell you, you could give up everything you love for someone like this. And not only will it never be enough, but in the end, it will never have been worth it. When you begin to be kinder to yourself and reflect on past relationships, you will see how things that were important to you, like having a vibrant social life, these things are normal and healthy. And if they can't handle you having friends, that's their problem. You can't fix it. And if you continue to give in to someone's constant, controlling demands, you will end up resenting them, and the relationship is doomed anyway. And if they're the kind of person who makes a point to scare off your friends, run. Someone can share their past with you without making you pay for it. Their history is an explanation, but it's not an excuse. The shift comes when you no longer give in to the excuses of why they have to treat you like the guilty party. You won't care if it's because of their ex. You are not their ex. You did not do these toxic things to them, and you don't deserve to have all of their trauma projected onto you. It's not your job to prove that humans can be trustworthy, and you don't deserve to be punished for someone else's transgressions. Someone can open up to you about their past. They can talk to you about their triggers without treating you like the same person who hurt them. Now, here's another scenario. You've been seeing someone and it turns out they use substances or alcohol way more than you originally realized. You see them talking about their past trauma and turning to a substance to cope. And of course, your heart goes out to them. You tell yourself, they're such a good person underneath everything. They just need support, and I can help fix this. I've noticed a lot of viewers on this channel get involved with escape artists, whether it's avoidant detachers, people who avoid love out of fear, or people who avoid everything with drugs or alcohol. It's all an addiction to escape, and it's tough because addicts aren't always bad people. And I won't even sit here and say that they don't love you, but they don't have the ability to put you above their addiction. They don't know how to do it. And hardcore avoidance or addicts, until they want to change, they won't know how to do something like that. They're not necessarily bad people, but they are not desirable life partners. Their behavior will taint every aspect of your life, like when now you have to go places alone because no one wants your messed up spouse around, or when they get high and decide they need cigarettes right now, and they think it's okay to put your kid in the back of their car because, hey, the store is right up the street. What's the worst that could happen? This is not the kind of person you risk your future on. And this is the stuff all of these how to get your ex back channels gloss right over, and it makes me nuts because they blindly tell you manipulative tactics to get an ex back, never addressing that this could be someone who is more than capable of destroying your future. Take a moment to notice how people who get heavily emotionally involved with addicts don't tell happy stories about the good old days. Recognize the pattern of addicts and pay attention to if they're getting trashed on dates, if they're not as chatty the next day, or if they make jokes about idolizing escapes. And here's the shift. You now understand that addicts can be very relatable and charming, and they might be very good looking, but welcome to the other half, where we know attraction is not just about looks, because you are looking to take on a life partner, not open a rehab clinic. If you draw a healthy boundary, a true escape artist will leave you. But if someone won't be with you because you won't enable their self-destructive behavior, that's a win. Inconsistent behavior in itself is an addiction. It turns us into addicts because we never know which version of the other person we're going to get. And because we crave this consistent love, which is totally normal and healthy, we fall into the next trap of becoming the rule maker to try to fix the relationship. Now, this starts when you feel your anxiety is through the roof. They were obsessed with you, and now they're pulling away. You spend all your time analyzing their texts, replaying conversations, and wondering, thinking, I need to find the problem so I can fix what went wrong. A couple of years ago, I had a woman make an unforgettable comment. The guy she was dating was showing her affection so inconsistently that she made a new rule that he had to give her at least 2 hugs every time they got together. The most disastrous relationships are the ones where we find ourselves going after people who flat out don't care enough about us or the relationship to put in the work. They know we aren't happy with the way things are, but they justify it because, hey, we're still here. They think, well, they know this is the way I am, and if they didn't like it, they would leave. And this is someone who is so completely self-absorbed that they don't take into account that humans are designed to bond. And I hate that phrase that people use, like, just walk away. I feel like it is dismissive and insulting to the complexity of relationships. And, your partner also isn't thinking about the first point I made in this video. People are all on their best behavior in the beginning. They probably didn't show up acting so indifferent to you. They just don't think about it that way because to them, they've always been who they are. You are only recently finding out who they are. Making rules on how much or how often someone must love you is an anxious response telling you that you're not getting what you need, and it destroys your self-image because it reinforces a false notion that other people will only love you if you make it a rule that they have to. Stop trying to fix their inconsistent behavior and draw a healthy boundary. They'll either leave because they're indifferent or, and this is just my opinion, people don't want to be controlled. They just want to be themselves. Well, good. Let them be unapologetically themselves, because it's going to be the fastest way you find out if they're going to be a desirable partner. Let them feel completely comfortable and relaxed around you. Let them show you who they really are. Are they totally uninterested? Do they really like you? Or are they someone who withdraws affection as a way to control you? And if you can feel your brain start to ask like, oh yeah, which one is this? That's the trap. And I can tell you from experience, trying to analyze someone who refuses to spend time with you freely is no way to live. Your boyfriend should want to hug you every time he sees you. I just thought I would make that clear. And it's only through trauma that we can't see how normal that is. The shift is when you realize you do not want to live like this anymore. And when you begin to see the inconsistent behavior, instead of leaning into it and trying to compete for their attention, you now know that you would rather set yourself on fire and go screaming down the street before you put up with this ever again, because you have been down this road. You know exactly what it leads to. You have learned if this is their behavior right now, it will only get worse. A healthy partnership feels like peace. It feels like a great Tuesday, not some puzzle that you have to go back and try to resolve every single day. You're stealing so much energy from your own life. It is disgusting to think about the number of hours I wasted trying to figure out why some people just didn't want to spend time with me. And I decided to stop spending my time piecing together this dysfunctional puzzle, and I painted my nails instead. So today, find your version of painting your nails. Instead of focusing on them, interrupt the pattern by focusing on doing one thing that is just for you. Start small and free yourself from the fixing trap. 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 gray at a time. But if you can't free yourself from intrusive thoughts, I'll put a video that helps you deal with romantic obsession right here. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting The Other Half.